So this is talking about third-party tools. Yeah, Yoshi P, FF14. He is FF14. That's in brackets. Yoshi P, FF14. On Act and third-party tools with English subs. Amazing. So let's see what he has to say. Act is a category of third-party tools. It stands for Advanced Combat Tracker. He knows what it is. The base function of this software is... when you're in battle, you see the battle log. X did this much damage and so forth. Yep. Act simply just add all those numbers. The numbers are not tampered with. Not altered. There's no hacking going on. Are they playing their own music? Yeah, they are playing music of this. So, if you say it's technically a calculator, yeah, it's a calculator. But it is a third-party tool, so we don't allow it. But for example, if I had a calculator right here, and you're doing your DPS, playing FF with one hand while calculating with the other, yeah. I know it's unrealistic, but someone asks, is a calculator a third-party tool? There's no end to that to the conversation. Another thing is, since the log data is there after the battle, you can copy and paste the log into an, info into an Excel. If you use Excel a lot, you probably have many macros. At first, you take the time to add the numbers one by one. But you can set up a macro in Excel to add them automatically. So the next question becomes, is Excel a third-party tool? That's a quote that should be up on that should just be a quote that is just like blown, just presented somewhere. I don't know where. Is Excel a third-party tool? I mean, to a degree, yeah. It's only not anymore. Act requires memory access nowadays because of Endwalker changes. Just log files doesn't work anymore. Okay. But yeah, but at the time, this made sense, yeah. Is there a third-party tool? Yeah. That being said, our official stance on third-party tools will always be no. Even with the basic functions, it is a third-party tool. So, please do not use it. Whether or not you might get caught using Axe. If in the future we decide to suspend all accounts using third-party tools, please be aware that it is a risk you are responsible for. So to reiterate, third-party tools are not allowed. Please do not use them. This might not be the best way to put this, but it is a complicated gray zone issue. I think it's a gray zone issue, yeah. So we don't know what's installed on your personal computers. Oh, Yoshi P. This is the most heinous lie that you have ever told. You know exactly what's installed on your FF14 players' PCs, okay? We all know. And I'll leave that up to interpretation. Is it FF14? It's FF14. It's FF14. Actually, no, I don't think it's FF14 because Endwalker is dead, bro. Endwalker killed Final Fantasy. Everyone uninstalled. Everyone quit. Yep. What I want to avoid is a futile reporting war. Things like, please ban them because they're using an act. Yeah, so, like, this is the weird thing that I find in the whole conversation, is not the people using the add-ons, not the developer's stance. I find the weird ones, the people that are in the middle, that are trying to, well, I guess they're not even in the middle. They're like on the extreme of both sides. So you have the people who are like on the extreme end of add-on users, and they go and they harass people and they give people shit and they kick people for low DPS and all that kind of stuff, right? So you have those users. Those are the extreme add-on users. And then you have the extreme not add-on users who are like beyond the position of the devs. The devs are like, look, just don't use, like, just don't talk about it, don't show us it, and just, like, get on with it. We'll leave you alone, you leave everyone else alone, cool, great. The extreme people who are like, Yoshi P, please ban this person, they're using an illegal third-party tool. And it's like, this is the kid that at school used to tell the teacher that they forgot to collect in the homework, you know? And, bruh, it's... Those people are cringe, because, you know, even the devs don't like those people. The devs don't like those people because they're being goody two-shoes, they're being tattletales, which means they're already cringe, but then also, now you've just made the devs need to do more work, which means you've actively cost Square Enix more money, okay? And you've made Yoshi P and Foxclan and whoever else in the community has to then deal with that. So, you're actually making the devs' lives harder, and now you're looking cringe, because now you're forcing their hand. So you're actually, like, everyone dislikes you now. If you're the type of person that reports people from using add-ons, now everybody dislikes you. So, it's even worse. Yeah, why did I get a penalty when the other person didn't? Didn't Preach get reported for chat bubbles? I don't think that's what games should be about. So if someone asks you, please say, Yoshi P says no, so it's better if you don't. Wow, I'm going to teach my kids that. Get a lot of people asking to draw a strict line, but just like I explained before, there's no end to it. Then people ask to just ban all third-party tools. I saw some people talking about it in chat. What counts as all? As mentioned before, we don't know what's installed on your personal PC. We don't know, and there's also no meaning in us trying to find out. That is your private information. So what about those modified mouse? A mouse with multiple buttons could count as a third-party tool. It just never ends. Then the next suggestion comes up. Make an official act built into the game. We've also said we will not do that. Those are two completely different issues. Yeah, because then they're contributing to... Because the thing is, right now, if people get, like, any kind of... I'm going to use the word harassment very loosely, because I'm going to be honest, guys. Making fun of someone for low DPS, I'll be honest, is not harassment. Like, just turn off your monitor. You know what I mean? Like, how are you getting cyberbullied, bro? Just turn off your monitor. Alright, going back to the Tyler the Creator quote. Alright. But, I'm using harassment loosely. But yes, bro, I can't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, them making an official DPS meter and putting it in game, then they're more responsible. If it was any other normal game, like, I wouldn't think the devs are responsible no matter what. But because of how FF players are, I feel like the devs would in some way feel somewhat responsible for it. Yeah. Like, more, like, contributing to it, you know. Plus the console gamers. Oh, sorry. He spoke too quick. The system will be the root of bullying. I'm 100% confident in that, yeah. I'm aware that there'll be people using it to calculate personal numbers, but I know you'll see this in party finders. Only join if you can prove you can DPS XXX amount. By the way, anyone who does that in their LFG tool, they are automatically bad players. You should not group with those people, because I promise you, they are the worst players in the group. And their whole group is probably bad. Do not join them. Maybe Final Fantasy is a bit different, and you can guarantee that every single boss is going to have a specific number that you're going to do. Like, if you go do that boss, let's just say you're going to do 1,000 DPS, like, that's the standard. And maybe some people do, like, 1,050, some people do, like, 980 or something, you know what I mean? Like, that's sort of, like, the upper-lower quartiles. Is that the... I don't know. But or upper lower what you mean? Bro, I've not done math since I was 4, okay? I can't remember the terms. But yeah. Yeah, the percentiles, yeah, the upper lower percentiles, yeah, sure. We never want that to happen. We've said this many times, but we will not make a built-in axe system. Yeah, 1 or 2 standard deviations. Amazing. I'm glad somebody in chat has done math. I'm a biologist. We didn't have to learn math, okay? Sometimes you go in a dungeon after taking a break from the game. The item level might not be as high as others that have been playing. Just becomes like that. It's inevitable that people start to want efficiency. I personally don't enjoy games that are all based off efficiency. Yo! Yoshi P! You are my guy! Yoshi P is my man! I agree. Games shouldn't always be exclusively about just efficiency all the time. What a base take. He said passes are cringe. Exactly. No. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do well and perform well and improve, right? But the degree to which you do that, I think, can sometimes be a bit cringe. If you're trying to, you're playing World of Warcraft, you're playing Classic Season of Discovery, and you're trying to, figure out how to optimize your 1 to 6 leveling route, bro, just shut up and just click on wolves, okay? Just kill kobolds, bro. Just AFK press wrath, all right? Let's just relax a little bit, But if you're doing an ultimate in FF and you're dying repeatedly on a boss, and you're going, we're not meeting the DPS check, then yeah, of course, go figure out how you can play your spec better or your job better. Of course, dude. But if you're, I think there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place to be a cringe min-maxer. Being a cringe min-maxer, time and a place. Yeah. We don't condone third-party tools. Let's say hypothetically that someone was using such a tool. And that person says they're using it under personal risk and for personal use only. But they posted someone else's numbers online. How irresponsible. Maybe out of frustration. This is punishable by death. Yoshi P! That's a little bit extreme. There's a little bit extreme, but I kind of get it. I'm not going to say no. This is punishable for harassment before the whole third-party tool argument. This person's DPS was so low, I had a hard time. Yeah, Yoshi, they ain't writing it like that, bro. They ain't writing it like that. But I respect the polite young man approach that you've just given. That's a penalty for harassment. Yep, agreed. That point is very important. It's similar to the conversation before about mods. You can't be spreading pornographic images in public. It's a different discussion from mods. It's the same thing as you can't use those numbers that appear on your screen to attack/shame people publicly. Yeah, maybe that's what we should do. Maybe instead of linking DPS numbers, we should just start linking that's harassment, and we will penalize that. That's where the problem lies. It shouldn't be that hard to understand. Huh, he's just like, you guys are stupid. It's not that difficult. Not that difficult. Hey, yeah, I'll link that video. That was a cool little quick react. I know, I see what you guys say in chat. So we obviously had a long conversation before watching this video about the idea of DPS meters. I already said I would never personally get one, but it's a shame because I do personally like to see where I can improve as a player, especially if I start getting into ultimates and stuff like that. I'm going to be really bummed if I can't see where I'm failing and I just have no idea if I'm playing well or not. And how I improve personally is by looking at a DPS meter, by looking at a damage breakdown, seeing, you know, comparing that to others and knowing where I'm sort of lacking and stuff. But what are you guys saying as well? So, yeah, 90% of the cases that you discover someone uses acting games if they bring it up during the dungeon, and that's technically reportable. What will happen is people will become complacent and they will get used to the idea that, like, oh, everyone's using add-ons, we can talk about it now. And I think it's cool that people probably just don't discuss them. I think that's fine. Talk about them in Discord, talk about them with your friends, and talk about them in streams and stuff. But I think putting it in dungeon chat is probably asking for trouble, really, with the way that the FF scene is. You put it on a second monitor? Nah, I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy. You know, I'm a good boy. As one streamer put it, it doesn't matter what you passed if you clear. True, but you could clear quicker if you were playing better, right? Why play with one hand tied behind your back if you can play with both hands, you know? So that's the idea of looking at passing. And if you're doing hard content, if you're doing criterions, if you're doing ultimates and stuff, then you should want to play your best. Yeah. Some people gain accessibility by using third-party tools. I feel like the super extreme anti-add-on people need to consider people who have disabilities, like they also play video games. Yeah, I mean, we had this discussion recently as well on stream. People don't consider, and this is human nature, you're not going to consider every single person and every single ailment, every single specific position for people. People just aren't going to do that. And, it'd be cool if people every once in a while thought, oh, I wonder how people play this when they're, blind or, disabled in some capacity. But people, quite frankly, they just don't think enough about that stuff. So it's like, it just is what it is, right? But I agree. There are some third-party tools that would make it easier for people that have disabilities, absolutely. Mike hasn't gotten banned or reported yet after he spoke to Yoshida at FanFest. The other FF streamers said to him that they were waiting for him to get banned for using them before they would be added into the game, as happened with other add-ons and quality of life features. Yeah, I think chat bubbles in FF, it's one of the things that I noticed within the first couple of weeks of playing Final Fantasy. I was like, this game needs chat bubbles. Looking at party chat is just so inefficient. In before, people comment on the YouTube video and go, yeah, but you could just read this and then click to your event tab and then click to your battle tab and then click to your general tab and you just read what somebody said. Nah, bro, give me chat bubbles. Give me chat bubbles. Give me chat bubbles for sure. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that was a cool video to watch. I give it a little like. I think the developers are in a very solid spot, like, of understanding. They seem very reasonable, very grounded. I actually very much like these devs. Every time they just show how grounded they are. They understand their game, they understand their community, and they've actually thought about the discussions. They haven't just come out and said some shit that doesn't make sense and shows that they don't play their own game. Like, they clearly play their own game. So hats off to FoxClan, hats off to Yoshi P, as always. Good dudes. DPS meters are a attention magnet. People shame others with logs. People always find a reason to, like, if people want to be cringe, they'll find a way to be cringe, right? 14 players get DPS meters. We will get people who will complain about your DPS and MSQ dungeons. Yeah. I do think that is something that is prevalent in... Like, it's hard, right? Because you can't blame the tool. Because the tool is not the problem. The tool is never the problem. You have to blame the person using the tool. And the problem is that people aren't always mature enough to use the tool, which is the DPS meter, right? Because in theory, you would just have DPS meter and you would just have, like, just you. You know what would be really good as a DPS meter? It grays out everyone in your group. So you can see the damage number, but you can't see their role. You can't see their name. You can't see anything like that. You can just see that their numbers fluctuate. So it's a personal DPS meter. So you can see yourself in comparison to them, but you can't see, You can't see in your group. That way you can't just pick on one individual. You're like, one of our DPS is maybe sucking here, but like, don't know who it is. It's one of them, but we don't know which one it is. Okay, let's just continue. And I don't know. You'd still find a way to, like, you know, you'd ask everyone a series of questions to, like, test them on their rotation or some shit. Like, I don't know, you did some weird shit, but, yeah. While back in Heavensward, there was an incident where during a Japanese community stream, a voice actor was running content with the community. JP World First Team sniped her party and proceeded to troll her, ridicule her, and post her logs to make fun of her. So bad she cried on stream. It was a huge fuss that now SE has to take the stance against them and say they don't want incidents like that to happen. Okay, so let me... That is obviously awful, right? That's horrendous. But at the end of the day, is it really the DPS meter that allowed that to happen? Is the DPS meter the reason that a group of people sniped her group? Like, they were looking to make fun of her. They were looking to do that. And they were going to do that regardless. Don't want people to abuse the DPS meters? If that's where they stand. Yeah, and that's fine. And that's fine. Like, I'm not going to argue against it. That's totally fine. I'm even saying, right, like, it's like, DPS meters wouldn't necessarily be a great thing because people can use them negatively. Like, and that's something prevalent in WoW, is, like, people using DPS meters against each other and stuff. So, like, absolutely, I'm not saying that they should add DPS meters. I'm not going to get a DPS meter because, like I said, if the devs don't want it, then I respect that, and I wouldn't want to mess with that. But don't get me wrong, if someone in my group has DPS meters and we're on some sick boss, like some savage boss or something, and they DM me and go, yo, Sai, here's your DPS, I'm gonna go, yo, cool. Or like, Sai, here's your log, you logged and da-da-da pass. I'll go, alright, sick. Because as a player, I want to, like, that's the annoying thing, and that's the annoying thing with DPS meters, is that other people ruin it for you. Because like I say, you can't blame the tool, you can only blame the person using the tool, right? I wish that people won't cringe. Because I would love to have a DPS meter just purely to see, like, because a DPS meter is how I tell if I'm doing something right. And as somebody that likes to play what I play well, like, I like to, okay, so I don't min-max the meta. I min-max my own personal performance. So I play the thing that I want. I play the thing that I would enjoy. But I want to be the best that I can possibly be at it. Which is, like, a weird contortion of like, try hard, right? Where I don't play the best thing, and I don't always take the best options, but I want to do the very, very best I can when it comes to the actual mechanical execution of, like, my DPS and stuff like that. Yeah, which is rank 3 Feral? Well, you know, cool. So, that's the annoying thing. Yeah, DPS meters help you get better. I understand that people just suck. Exactly, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's the shame. That's the thing. That's the issue, is that it ruins it for everyone, right? It's just you know, it just spoils it for everyone. Have you heard of 14 analysis? I think so. Is it? I mean, it's like the. Yeah. I think I've heard of this. Post your log. Oh yeah. We have Warcraft logs. Warcraft WoW Analyzer. WoW Analyzer is what it's called. Same thing. You post in your log, tells you like, oh, you could have had higher uptime. You know, if you're playing Samurai, it will tell you that your dot could have been applied. You know, you could have had a 98% uptime on your dot, and you only had like a 92%. And it's like telling you could have had that higher, that kind of thing. Yeah. It's all well and good, but the answer is just get the DPS meter and the devs won't do anything. Just to spot you in being a streamer. Yeah, exactly. Like, if I wasn't streaming, I'd probably just be like, yeah, I'll get a DPS meter. But I kind of respect sort of having some solidarity with the devs and being like, yeah, I'm personally not going to get one. I'm not going to discourage others from having one. I'm not going to not look at screenshots people send me of my DPS. But I'm not going to get one physically on my screen. I'm not going to publicly show one on my stream because I respect the devs. Yeah. Yes. I'm not going to ask people to have it. I'm not going to ask people have it. I'm not going to tell people have it if people have it. But I think if people use one, they know the right thing to do is keep it to yourself and for yourself. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Don't show the DPS meter on screen. Don't talk about it in game. You can discuss it on Discord. Yeah. I don't mind talking about it on stream, but yeah, I wouldn't show it, like, I wouldn't, like, join a random pug and then be like, yo, guys, check out the DPS, like, I wouldn't do that. I was asked at a live letter about banning for plugins like DPS meters. Yoshi answered that before considering banning for add-ons, they considered banning for harassment, not add-ons that harass people. It's the weapon, yeah, that's what I was saying about the tool, right? The add-ons are the tools. They're not the reason, like, for example, the Snaku gave an example of a woman who got harassed for her DPS. The thing is that no one in the world cares about her DPS and whether it was good or not. Like, literally 0 people care. The reason she probably cried is because she was getting harassed by a group of people. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, if no one's sitting there going like, yeah, well, you know, these guys came in and purposely harassed her, but her DPS was low, so I can kind of see what they were getting on at. You know, like, no one's doing that. Everyone's just going, wow, those guys are cringe. Those guys are losers. Those guys need to do some, you know, internal sort of reflection there and think about where they're at in their lives.